Despite their outward appearance of confidence and capability, narcissists are often highly incompetent. They lack the resilience and essential life skills needed for genuine success. Their perceived omnipotence is a facade, a carefully constructed illusion designed to mask their inherent insecurities and deficiencies. Narcissists create a false construct of themselves, convincing themselves and others that they are superior beings deserving of admiration and adulation. This false self-concept is constantly reinforced by their need to be placed on a pedestal, to be seen as infallible and exceptional. However, this grandiose self-perception is far from the truth. Narcissists believe they are the ultimate authority on everything, yet they often fail to demonstrate true mastery in any area. This delusion of grandeur leads them to overestimate their abilities while simultaneously underperforming in various aspects of life. Their lack of self-awareness prevents them from recognizing their shortcomings, and instead, they blame external factors or other people for their failures. This perpetual state of denial and externalization of blame keeps them trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction and incompetence. Their inflated sense of self-worth makes them resistant to constructive criticism or personal growth. They dismiss any feedback that challenges their self-image, perpetuating their incompetence. This inability to learn and adapt from their mistakes further solidifies their lack of true competence. As a result, despite their outward bravado, narcissists often find themselves unable to achieve long-term success or meaningful accomplishments. A pervasive sense of dysphoria and dissatisfaction plagues narcissists. No matter how much they achieve or how much love and admiration they receive, it is never enough to fill the void within them. This insatiable need for external validation stems from their deep-seated emptiness, a void that can never be filled through external means. Unlike individuals who recognize their inner void and work towards self-love and self-compassion, narcissists seek external solutions to their internal problems. They are constantly chasing new sources of validation and distraction, whether it be through material possessions, new relationships, or achievements. This perpetual chase prevents them from ever feeling truly content or satisfied. The major difference between the emptiness felt by those traumatized by narcissists and the narcissists themselves is awareness. Survivors of narcissistic abuse often recognize the source of their emptiness and actively work on healing. In contrast, narcissists remain oblivious to the true nature of their dissatisfaction, always blaming others and playing the victim. This persistent state of victimhood fuels their dysphoria, creating a vicious cycle of dissatisfaction and blame. No matter how much they have or how much they are loved, it is never enough. Their inability to introspect and address their inner turmoil means they are doomed to a life of perpetual dissatisfaction. This relentless chase for fulfillment ultimately leads to their demise, as they will never find the internal peace and satisfaction they so desperately seek. Adaptability is a crucial life skill, necessary for navigating the complexities of life and forming healthy relationships. However, narcissists are notoriously inflexible and rigid. Their need for perfection in others and their constant urge to devalue those who do not meet their unrealistic standards makes it impossible for them to form genuine connections. They idealize people initially, but as soon as they see their human flaws, they devalue and discard them. Narcissists see themselves as superior beings, and any sign of imperfection in others triggers their disdain. This unrealistic expectation of perfection creates a moving target for those around them. No matter how hard you try to meet their expectations, it is never enough. They constantly shift the goalposts, ensuring that you are always left feeling inadequate and unappreciated. This lack of adaptability makes narcissists extremely fragile. Despite their outward appearance of strength and control, they are deeply affected by even minor changes or challenges. Their rigid nature means that any deviation from their expectations can cause them to fall apart. They are like a house of cards, appearing stable and grand, but easily toppled by the slightest disturbance. Their inability to adapt and accept others as they are makes them incapable of forming lasting and meaningful relationships. They are doomed to a life of superficial connections, constantly seeking new sources of validation and discarding those who fail to meet their impossible standards. Authenticity is a fundamental aspect of healthy living and genuine relationships. However, narcissists are inherently inauthentic. Their entire identity is based on a false self, a construct created to mask their insecurities and deficiencies. This false self is built on lies and illusions, making it impossible for them to be genuine. Narcissists are shapeshifters, changing their persona depending on who they are interacting with and what they want to achieve from the interaction. They do not have genuine likes or dislikes. Instead, they adopt those of others to gain approval and admiration. Their actions and behaviors are driven by a desire to manipulate and exploit, rather than by true preferences or values. This constant need for validation and approval keeps them trapped in a cycle of inauthenticity. They are always playing a role, always putting on a facade to get what they want. This inauthentic way of living prevents them from forming genuine connections or experiencing true happiness. They are like shadows, always present but never substantial, always mimicking but never real. Their lack of authenticity also means they do not have a true sense of self. Their identity is fluid, constantly changing to fit their needs and circumstances. This lack of a stable self-concept makes them vulnerable and fragile, despite their outward appearance of confidence and control. They are like hollow shells, appearing solid but empty inside. Despite their outward appearance of independence and self-sufficiency, narcissists are highly codependent. They rely on others for their sense of self-worth and validation. Their entire identity is built on the approval and admiration of others. Without this external validation, they feel empty and worthless. Narcissists are like parasites, feeding off the emotions and energies of those around them. They need constant supply to maintain their inflated self-image. This need makes them more codependent than those who are traditionally seen as codependent. They are like mutated codependents, needing others not for emotional support, but for validation and admiration. Their need for constant supply makes them highly dependent on their victims. They cannot survive without someone to validate their existence. This dependence makes them highly manipulative and exploitative. They will do whatever it takes to keep their victims around, using tactics like love bombing, gaslighting, and devaluation to maintain their control. Despite their outward bravado, narcissists are deeply insecure and fragile. They cannot stand being alone, as it forces them to confront their inner emptiness. They need others to distract them from their inner turmoil and to reinforce their false self-image. Without this constant supply, their entire identity collapses. Their dependence on others makes them highly vulnerable. Once their victims realize their true nature and decide to leave, the narcissist is left floundering, desperately seeking new sources of supply. Their codependence is a weakness that they try to mask with their false bravado and inflated self-image. Listening is a fundamental skill for forming healthy and meaningful relationships. However, narcissists are notoriously poor listeners. They do not listen to understand or empathize. Instead, they listen to gather information that can be used to manipulate and control. Their listening is always self-serving, aimed at exploiting the vulnerabilities of others. Narcissists extract data from their interactions, identifying weak points that they can exploit. They are always on the lookout for ways to infiltrate and manipulate, using the information they gather to further their own agenda. This self-serving listening prevents them from forming genuine connections or understanding others on a deeper level. Their inability to listen and empathize means they are always focused on themselves. They are not interested in the needs or feelings of others, only in how others can serve their own needs. This self-centeredness makes them incapable of forming true partnerships or being part of a healthy family dynamic. Their lack of empathy and genuine concern means they cannot truly care for others. They see relationships as transactions, opportunities to extract supply rather than to give and receive love and support. This transactional view of relationships prevents them from experiencing the depth and richness of genuine human connections. Narcissists are like robots, programmed to extract information and exploit weaknesses. They do not have the capacity for true empathy or understanding, making them poor listeners and even poorer partners. Their inability to listen and care means they are always alone, even when surrounded by others. They are trapped in their own world, disconnected from the true essence of human relationships. In conclusion, narcissists are deeply flawed individuals who lack the essential life skills needed for genuine success and happiness. Their false sense of competence, deep-seated dysphoria, rigidity, inauthenticity, codependence, and inability to listen make them incapable of forming genuine connections or achieving long-term success. Their entire existence is built on a fragile facade, a house of cards that can easily collapse with the slightest disturbance. Understanding these fundamental flaws can help you see through their manipulative tactics and recognize the true nature of their behavior. It is crucial to protect yourself from their toxic influence and to seek help and support if you are in a relationship with a narcissist. By removing yourself from their web of control, you can begin to heal and rebuild your life. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you found this content helpful, please subscribe to the channel and share it with others to spread awareness about narcissistic abuse. Your support helps us reach more people and provide valuable information to those in need. Until next time, stay blessed and irresistible.